But the thoughts of the maiden remained still gentle and womanly. "It's enough for me that I have lived on the same table with him," thought the maiden, and then she broke in two. "If only she had known of my love, she would have held together a little longer," thought he. "So that's the story, and here they are, both of them," said the baker. "They're remarkable for their strange history and for their silent love, which never came to anything, and now they're both for you." With that he gave Johanna the man, who was still in one piece, and Knud got the broken maiden. But the children had been so touched by the story that they couldn't be so bold as to eat up the lovers. Next day they took them out to the Kjöge churchyard, where winter and summer lovely ivy covers the church wall like a rich carpet. They stood the two cake figures up among the green leaves and the bright sunshine, and told a group of other children the story of the silent love that was useless. That is to say, the love was, for the story was charming, they all found. But when they looked again at the gingerbread couple, they found that a mischievous big boy had eaten up the broken maiden. The children cried about that, and later, probably so that the poor lover might not be left alone in the world, they ate him up too. But they never forgot the story. The two children were always together by the elder tree or under the willow, and little Johanna sang the most beautiful songs in a voice as clear as a silver bell. Knud had not a note of music in him, but at least he knew the words of the songs, and that was something. But the people of Kjöge, even the wife of the hardware merchant, stopped and listened when Johanna sang. "She has a very sweet voice, the little girl," she said. Those were glorious days, but glorious days do not last forever. And finally the neighbors separated. Johanna's mother died, and her father planned to marry again in Copenhagen, where he had been promised a position as messenger, a job supposed to be very profitable. While the neighbors parted with regrets, the children wept bitterly, but the parents promised to write to each other at least once a year. And Knud was made apprentice to a shoemaker, for such a big boy was too old to run around wild any longer, and furthermore, he was confirmed. Oh, how he would have liked to see little Johanna in Copenhagen on that day of celebration. But he didn't go, and he had never been there, although Kjöge is only 5 Danish miles away. On a clear day, Knud could see the distant towers of the city across the bay, and on the day of his confirmation he could even see the golden cross on the tower of the Church of Our Lady glitter in the sun. Ah, how often his thoughts turned toward Johanna, and did she remember him? Yes. At Christmas time a letter came from her father to Knud's parents, saying that they were doing very well in Copenhagen, and Johanna could look forward to a brilliant career on the strength of her lovely voice. She already had a position in the opera house, and was already earning a little money, out of which she had sent her dear neighbors of Kjöge $1 for a Merry Christmas Eve. Johanna herself added a postscript, asking them to drink to her health, and in the same postscript was also written, "Friendly greetings to Knud." They all wept. But this was all very pleasant, for they were tears of joy that they shed. Knud's thoughts had been with Johanna every day, and now he knew that she also thought of him. The nearer came the end of his apprenticeship, the more clearly did he realize that he was in love with Johanna, and that she must be his little wife. When he thought of this, a smile brightened his face, and he drew the thread faster than before and pressed his foot against the knee strap. He didn't even pay any attention when he ran the awl deep into one of his fingers. He was determined that he would not play the silent lover like the 2 gingerbread cakes. The story had taught him a lesson. Now he was a journeyman, and his knapsack was packed ready for his trip. At last, for the first time in his life, he was to go to Copenhagen, where a master was already expecting him. How surprised and happy Johanna would be to see him! She was just 17 now, and he 19. He wanted to buy a gold ring for her before he left Kjöge, but then he decided he could get a much nicer one in Copenhagen. And so he took leave of his parents, and on a rainy, windy day in autumn set forth on foot from the town of his birth. The damp leaves were dropping from the trees, and he was wet to the skin when he arrived at his new master's home in the big city of Copenhagen. The following Sunday he would pay a visit to Johanna's father. So on Sunday he put on the new journeyman's clothes and the new hat from Kjöge that became him very well, for till then he had only worn a cap. He easily found the house he was seeking, and mounted flight after flight of stairs until he became almost dizzy. It seemed terrible to him for people to live piled up on top of each other in this intricate city. Everything in the parlour looked prosperous, and Johanna's father received him in kindly friendship. Knud was a stranger to the new wife, but she too shook hands with him and gave him a cup of coffee. "Johanna will be glad to see you," said the father. "You've grown into a nice-looking..."